Back here at the Digital News Desk, and Councilmember Cliff Olney is here after we had our conversation with the mayor earlier today. To be fair, of course, we have the councilman in to talk a little bit about the ethics charge and where the process is and where it's going to go tonight. Being Monday, the 21st of October, on the agenda tonight is the fact that council will vote on whether or not this moves forward to be a hearing. So first, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're adamant about this whole thing. You're fight. Tonight, there likely will be enough votes to move forward and do a hearing. I guess one of the things, and I'm just thinking of this now, is you did not want to go in front of the ethics board the second chance that they talked about it because it was going to be behind closed doors. Exactly. It wasn't going to be open to the public. Does tonight and a vote to move this forward, and will you vote yes for it to move forward if in fact a hearing would put it in the public, right? That's what you want. Is this the way to get what you want?
It is. We're talking about what needs to come out. Of course, it won't be happening tonight. It'll be mostly a formal vote to decide if it's going to. And it was my interest to see me be able to address the ethics board and the public so that everybody understood what I felt and what the charges were. That wasn't what happened. At the last minute, they decided to change the format from what I had already said I wanted, was from a public hearing. Just to ask me the questions you want to, let the public understand exactly what was said.
The ethics board meeting, that was October 5th, I think? You wanted that out in the public.
I wanted it in the public.
Yeah, and then it ended up going behind closed doors. And you said, no, I'm not going to do that.
That's right.
And you backed away from it. So tonight with the vote, go ahead if you want.
Well, no, I did, what I did was I did a notice of appearance, which is a legal form that says I am willing to come in. The circumstances changed. These are things I want. I want an adjournment until I can talk with a lawyer. And I presented that at 2 o'clock, 2 hours before the meeting, and then it was reported that I didn't show. And I said to Todd, I don't know how that could be, because we have a form actually printed from Loganetti signing it that he received that, and so did the ethics board.
You only had a couple of days' notice to show up in front of that ethics board. Did that concern you, or were you? I mean, you were ready for this?
None of this actually has surprised me. The rush, what I saw this ethics board as being this time when they reconvened it, they took the vote last time to dot all their I's and cross all their T's, because it was very clear from our city's attorney's letter that there was a critical omission in the ethics board not allowing me due process. I mean, to come in and actually speak.
To come in, defend yourself, give your side of the story.
Exactly.
So they gave you that chance, but then they put it behind closed doors. Yeah. You're like, that's not the chance I'm looking for. I want this to be out in public. So here we are with tonight and the vote. Wouldn't it be something if you vote yes for this to move forward? Because if it does put it out in the public, so back to my original question, how do you vote tonight? Because a yes vote would put it to the public and everything would come out.
You're right. You're right. Well, basically, last time I voted against that, and I was told I had to recuse myself. Well, I certainly don't have to recuse myself. I understood the position that she was taking. To vote yes would be, it's a double bind. It's a double.
You don't know. You don't want to admit guilt.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't believe there is any guilt. Okay. The charges are basically, if you look at the charges themselves, there is no ethics charge. All right, they're really not. And the evidence that they supplied to, and as the ethics board claimed, to sustain those charges is kind of ludicrous, because not being that there's any charge and having supporting evidence to support something that's not a charge in itself is absurd, but that's what they're doing. So tonight, I'm in a double bind. If I vote yes for it to go forward, then people say, well, see, and this is what they want me to do. So if I vote no, it looks as though I'm not interested in having an open hearing. We could have had that already with the ethics board.
So you just abstain? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's going to be, to be determined.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got hours to make your mind up. No hurry. But if you did vote yes, and you gave that caveat to say, only because I want it to become, part, out in the open, I just, maybe that's a way to get what you're looking for out of that. I don't know.
The hard part about this is that I've asked all the council members to take a look at the evidence. Okay. Now last year, and they haven't read them. I asked one. They said no, we haven't read it. That's why we have an ethics board, so they can read it, make a determination about what they think, and then let us know what they think. To me, our job is to second guess and ask questions while we're council people. Anything that comes before me, I look at it carefully. And I would have thought that they would have. I sent that to them back in January after they were elected. And neither of the new council people have read it. And so they don't know what's in it other than what they've been told by the ethics board. Now, the ethics board chairman and I ran against each other in 2017. So there's a conflict of interest there. I think the most important thing that I want the public to understand is I want there to be transparency. I want there to be an understanding of what actually has been accused, what I've been accused of, and then what the evidence was that they have presented that this board has sustained these charges with. And once that's known, it'll be something I can live with. Last year, I didn't want there to be a decision. I asked for it to be held over until this year. The reason for that, it would have put two council people that were there with me in an awkward, precarious situation because they could have been seen as, no, they're just giving only a pass. I don't want there to be a pass. I want the public to understand fully that this was politically motivated by the ex-mayor, all right, and that was why he did this on his way out the door. And so what he did is he left us all this problem for us to have to resolve, and it's up to us to do it. Once the public fully understands what this is and how it was concocted and orchestrated for the reasons that it was, I'll be satisfied with the public, because I don't want them to go into this next election next year thinking that I've done anything that wasn't actually in the fiduciary responsibility of the city and of the residents here.
And you feel that the process right now, I think you've said this, correct me if I'm wrong, that's why you're here, but to just get you out of office. You think this is a way to get you out of office. Now, I knew that you knew that, or that you thought that, and I had the mayor in here earlier, and I flat out asked her 3 times, is this a way to get Councilmember Olney on? And she's like, no, this isn't her motivation. So she's on the record saying that's not her motivation. She just wants to see it through. Do you buy that, or do you still think it's to get you out of office?
Well, look, I'd like to believe in that. I had a long conversation with her prior to her taking office, and I asked her if it was going to be a Billy Barlow administration from Oswego or if it's going to be Jeff Smith 2.0. What I've seen has been pretty conclusive over the course of the time with cutting pools and other things like that. So I know that she supports pools, but she's in favor of doing something with the zoo. However, you know, and the disclaimers that I hear her say. So basically what I'm looking at with this particular issue is I want the public to understand all of them are going to have to make a decision about what they think is important. Now tonight I expect it to go forward, all right, for us to have a hearing. I do expect the city to pay for my attorney, but I want there to be transparency. And to answer your question about whether I think that she is in favor of me being removed from city council, I sent emails to NICOM. I got back a response from John Mancini, who is their counsel. It's clearly stated in there that he didn't have time to review everything yet, but he will. And he wanted to know if I want formal questions asked so that they can review this and send us back an opinion. I sent that into the city, the letter that I was going to write to him, asking them for their input so that they would have a chance to ask any questions they might have. Both Sarah and Ben came back with, well, we didn't give you permission to ask anybody any opinion about anything. Now, they had an opportunity during the discussion that happened with the lawyer, all right? When she came out and I came out and I said, here was a confidential email, and you remember me exposing that. And they were adamantly opposed to me exposing the fact that she had called exactly what the ethics board had done, a critical omission, and that it needed to be revamped. None of that's been addressed, but they sent it right back to the same board that was flawed. And so why would that be? It seems to me that if they wanted, the most important thing is that the public understands what happened, why it was done, and what the reasoning was for, and what the outcome is that they hope. I would like to believe that I'm dealing with an honest interest in transparency and truth so the public understands they can make their own decision about me when I run next year. But I don't believe that's what it is. And so honestly, I've got another press release they're going to release today, and I have a copy I'll give you to counter what she has to say.
I think you just made a little bit of news right there saying that you are going to run for re-election.
I am.
You've kicked that off. It's okay.
I haven't officially, but
well,
I will.
I think you have now.
Well, I have now. Well, thank you very much for
by
the
doing that here. So
I appreciate that. Yeah.
That's good to know. One of the questions I did ask the mayor as well, because I think you would agree there are larger fish to fry in the city of Watertown in terms of what is important and where the focus needs to be. And I asked the mayor, and I'm not saying that there's any guilt, but hear me out on this. I said, if Councilmember Olney were just to be like, all right, let's put an end to this. If I did something that was misconstrued or did something where you think it was unprofessional, I didn't think it was, or that it was an ethics problem, we're on different sides of the issue, but let's just put this to bed. Let's just say, okay, yes, maybe there was something here that you didn't like. Maybe it's something that I thought it was okay, but I did it. And not saying you did, but this, I'm just asking, you know, if you were to do that and put this all behind us, no lawyers, no fees, no more time spent on this. Right. She still thinks the process should move through and have a conclusion to it, saying that you shouldn't be removed from office. She didn't say that. Yeah. But how would you feel about that? If you guys could just kind of just be done with this, would you do that if there was an agreement?
Would I admit to doing something that I don't feel I did in order to have a mood of kumbaya in the council? Okay, which is what, you know, a lot of people have asked me, Cliff, there's other issues. Well, there are. But I think what's important is that the people know that I'm willing to continue to stand up and advocate for the things that I did before I became a councilman, right? And that I will continue to do that, even if I have to take it to the mat and say, no, I didn't do anything. That's exactly what I plan to do. The mayor can say what she wants, but my belief is that we're ideologically on the opposite side of the spectrum as far as I want to see the city do more, and she isn't so interested in saying that do it much more, because we've done a lot now. That's the battle, and that's the decision that people in the city are going to have to make for themselves in this next election. Do they want to see us continue to go forward, or do they want to see pools cut, things done that are not, you know, quality of life issues, not as important? That's more of a philosophical situation. The mayor and I, we're different in what we believe government should do. And the previous mayor was as well. He was as different as for me as what you could be, you know, philosophically. I believe we can do more. He didn't. And so the battle that's actually taking place now is not whether I did something unethical, because I didn't. All right, it's whether they can muddy me up enough during this process to make the people suspect that I'm not worthy of their vote this next time. And it's unfortunate they can't argue on the values, the ideas, and the beliefs and the vision that they lack, because it wouldn't be much of an argument compared to doing more for the residents here.
So if you're
certainly can afford
as you're running for re-election, I guess it is more important that you want to see it through, because you want to have an end point where you clear your name.
Last year, I didn't want it to end there. I wanted to come forward. I thought it would be unfair to the new council people that were coming on to not have a chance to weigh in on it, and there would be been something left unfinished. And there's nothing I want to be left unfinished. When this is done, I want it to be conclusive. People to understand that this is what was done, this is what was said, here's what was done in order to support and substantiate, and this is what the role was of that ethics board and everybody that was involved in order to make this such a big issue. There are so many more important things. Hydro, where the city's going, disinfectant byproducts, which we now find that we've been in compliance with for the last year and a half, so maybe this project's not necessary. Why are we going to spend $62 million? Fact is, do you want somebody in there asking those questions about this expensive project? Wouldn't we be better spending that money, investing that money in the streets and other things for kids to do around here? I think so. So, you know, I'm not a rubber stamp. And if they think, well, maybe if you just get along, we could all get along and you could finish out your time, and that's not how this is going to end. Standing
firm, standing his ground. Councilmember, thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it, and we'll see how it goes here tonight. We'll be watching.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Very good.